Welcome back. You're with us on Bazaar Morning Call. Now, yesterday, some chatter in the market was around this, virus, the HMPV, considering that we had some cases being officially reported in India. The ICMR confirmed 2 cases, 2 infants in Bengaluru, and the market perhaps started using that as an excuse to compound the selling. But what is the exact situation on ground? We spoke to a couple of experts yesterday as well. And we also have, I think, Dr Chandrakant Lahariya, who's consultant physician and very, very well-known epidemiologist. Thank you so much, Dr. Lahariya, for being with us. Now, I just want to run this past you because some of the experts we spoke to yesterday told us that this is not a new virus. We've seen it before, we've dealt with it before, and one perhaps shouldn't panic at the outset. Same question to you. Is there any reason to think of this as more than a usual, cough, cold and flu virus?
There is no reason to believe that this is a dangerous virus or anything which we should be worried about this virus. As we know that this is a very old virus, first identified in 2001. This caused a very common flu-like symptoms, illnesses. In fact, the data which is available both for India and globally indicate that 1 in every 10 respiratory illness is caused by HMPV. And this is like for last 20 or 25 years. Other thing which is very assuring and what we know from scientific evidence is that by the age of 5, nearly 90 to 95% children get infection with HMPV. What it means that because children get infection with this virus regularly, so essentially they develop immunity. So the future infection or future exposure to this virus is very, very mild and often asymptomatic. So putting all of these things together, that this is not a new virus, most of the children get exposure and then they develop immunity. So there is no reason to worry and nothing to be concerned about. One of the important things which has happened that, of course, it has been reported in media and especially cases from China. But I also believe that this is linked to the heightened surveillance. The key that this is a virus HMPV, which is regularly seen by pediatricians and physicians in a clinical practice. But we do not test regularly for this virus because you test for influenza virus, respiratory syncytial virus, and other common viruses. If you want to test for HMPV, it is a very expensive proposition. And even if you test positive, you continue the same treatment. So testing is not done. In a scenario, for example, now, if India starts increased testing for HMPV as a surveillance mechanism, we would find that number of cases would go up. But for older virus, something like respiratory viruses, we should not be worried unless there is a new characteristic or unless there is something new emerging out of it. If we increase testing, number of cases would go up, and that's understandable.
That's very, very sort of reassuring, Doctor. Surabhi, I think people, any amount of whatever panic there was, etc., about the virus, I think people should be, these words are reassuring and we'll do more of this. But I think people should also be allowed to panic a little bit because, not panic a little bit, but it's understandable. 4 years back, it was around exactly the same time, right? January.
And the headline started from China. So, which is why I think the sudden concern.
I'm not very sure, but I think I remember I was out for the break and then I came back and I remember the first of those cases in China. And we, all the way till about March, we were tracking what was happening in China.
Yes.
And slowly, but these words are reassuring and hopefully this is absolutely nothing like that. But we'll see. Mr. Lahariya, so, it's a normal thing, as you said. Most kids get it, not most, but you mentioned a percentage of kids, right? I mean, do get it early on. Sorry, go on.
Most of the kids get this infection. So the evidence shows that by the age of 5 years, 90 to 95% of kids get this exposure and this infection, and thus they develop immunity. So it's very innocuous, very harmless virus which is circulating around. So that's part one. And then the second assuring part of this, because they develop exposure infection by age of 5, so even in the future, because this virus is circulating always, as an adult, if they are exposed, even then it's very asymptomatic and mild. So we do not have to worry. Only time when anyone need to be worried is if there is a new mutations or there is a new set of information emerging, which is not there right now. And
so the China, so Dr. Lahariya, exactly on that point, so whatever we are hearing out of China, is that some new strain or some new mutation, or is it still the old virus from the evidence and knowledge that you have at hand right now?
So we understand this science very well now. So for example, if an existing testing kit can identify a virus, which essentially means it's an old virus, and also the genomic sequencing technology is so advanced that we can immediately identify whether there is a new virus or old virus. So this is a old virus, the same virus which has been circulating. What we are also hearing from different media sources that China has heightened the surveillance for all the respiratory illnesses, and that's how they have seen this increase. And third thing, which is very assuring, that even Chinese authorities have said that even though they are finding an increase in the number of cases, but the number of cases in 2024, by the end of 2024 until now, is much lower than what they were in 2023. So the winter, especially starting November till January, February, March, is the flu season in China, and also a second flu season in India. So this is very on the expected line, and there is no major increase.
Sure. All right, Dr. Lahariya, that is extremely sort of positive to hear that this is an old virus, and there's nothing really to be alarmed or worried about here, and perhaps even in China, it's just seasonal. Thank you very much for joining in and giving us some context and perspective on the matter.